What's cracking with y'all? It's your boy Prince, the Hustle God, aka Wise the Warlock, and we reaching in our combat tool bag one more again. It is a cool black affair. Shout out to the mighty LDBC, LDBC only, LDBC or nothing, LDBC versus everybody, LDBC everywhere. Do me a favor, family. Uh, Subscribe, support, follow everything LDBC, Trilitary, TWT, Simple Truth Network. Check out other two channels, HFO The Church and Acting Right TV. 1 second on commercial. Big Cuzzo, what's cracking with you? Juan, what's cracking with you, Lo? Welcome down Ram in the building. Welcome. Back to the commercial real quick. Acting Right TV, HFO The Church. Also, support my OGs, Condo Loco, OG K Hope, that's Black Fight Fan TV. Shop Usual Suspects, support the Usual Suspects, shopusualsuspects6.com. And check out my little brother, Black Sun, that's the 9-4 Sun God. Also, I have two at the gym, gotta get a bit early out. Here it's 4:30. Damn, 4:13. Yeah, I just got done with my morning miles. Uh, OG just stepped in the building. Salute, OG Loco. Yeah, I just got welcome to breakfast and boxing. Have a little bit of battle with your breakfast. I just got done with my morning miles around 5 after 5. 5 miles after 5 a.m. So I'm ready to get this little live in. It's important I get a couple things off my chest. But back to the commercial before I dive in. Please shop usualsuspects.com. Shop usualsuspects6.com. Support each individual usual suspect. And support everybody up there on the site. My OG Condo Local got gear up there. I got gear up there. Cop some combat tool bag gear from shopusualsuspects6.com. Also on Amazon.com, I have a book series, 4 book series called Hustle God Methodology. Um, you can type in Michelangelo Turner in Amazon, or you can type in Hustle God Methodology in Amazon, and you'll find a series of books. Hustle God Masterpiece, Daily Gold Mine Molding. You'll find Hustle God's Afro Gold Part 1. You'll find um, Hustle God Linguistics of Money, Language of the 1%, and Hustle God, The Art of the Hustle. Um, all original works. I definitely got you. Ram. Um, but yes, that's the commercial. Welcome to Breakfast and Boxing, aka Breakfast with the Champ. Thanks to Queen Tay Tay, she gave it the name. So have a little bit of battle with your breakfast. Welcome to the table, family. That said, I missed Friday's live. It was supposed to be dedicated to Wilder and everything that he's done in his comeback. So we'll talk briefly about that. Uh, but there's also some LDBC business that needs to be addressed as well. That um, I I may be even out of pocket a little bit, but there's a lot that needs to be addressed. But we'll go in order. So that said, to start, Deontay Wilder, he made his return. He stopped Hellenius in a emphatic fashion. I was thoroughly impressed. I mean, it was amazing work. He displayed good footwork. Um, he he gave a little glimpse. Like technically, um, he did break a record for only throwing. I mean, for throwing less than like the least amount of punches to get a knockout. But he also did. You seen before he landed that knockout punch, he tried to display a little bit of combination punching. It was just Hellenius was at the wrong range, so the shots didn't land properly. And then when he got in the corner, he fired that one off, and even then he tried to fire a 2-3-2 combination. So Wilder, he's showing new fabrics to his game, and he's only given us like 2 minutes in his return. The king has returned, and he's about to give us some crazy shit. In fact, he did clobber Cuz. But yeah, so he gave us some ridiculous memories in the past with when it comes to boxing, and this one was no different. It was equally spectacular. Um, he essentially Archer Spuka or Spukad um, Hellenius, and it was ridiculous. And in the time that he did a Stavern, a PGH Big Dog, welcome to Breakfast and Boxing. Have a little bit of battle with your breakfast. Thank you for stopping by. Appreciate all y'all stopping by. Appreciate the support, family. Love y'all. Um, yeah, so Wilder, he made a ridiculous statement in his comeback, and and then he gave an exclusive interview to 7-8, the general. Um, Amazing interview, touching interview, in which Malik hopped at. He's back for business, and he's back to get it popping. And this second reign is going to be ridiculous. And also that their their cohesion is like no other. This is the coach that Deontay Wilder needed. A lot of people tend to undermine, like they're sneak dissing Malik by saying that Wilder would be better with this coach and that coach. It's like he's at home with his brother, he's at home with his family, and when you find um, people who you can communicate with and people who you can understand, um, using their skill set and your skill set as one, uh, you're going to be a hard duo to beat, a hard team to beat. Um, that said, definitely check out 7-8 Sports TV. The General, his interview with Deontay Wilder, his immediate exclusive follow up with Deontay Wilder, and with Malik Scott, and it also featured OG Black Fight Fan K Ho and Queen Cece, and it was a wonderful, wonderful, entertaining interview from top to bottom. Uh, that said, let's get into the LDBC business part of this live. Um, a lot transpired via Earl Spence and Terrence Crawford, and it seems that as a collective, not just the LDBC, I mean everybody, like everybody who's a fan of these individuals, everybody who's attentive to what's going on in the fight, is struggling with ISO focus, with hyper focus, with zoning in and scoping in on one issue. MP WTF, welcome. Thank you for stopping by. Have a little bit of battle with your breakfast. Much love for your support. And what I mean by people are struggling with ISO focus is um, the blame, like we're talking about Earl Spence and Terrence Crawford in this mega fight. And from an entertainment perspective and a fan perspective, yes, we're not demanding much by having these two match up, but we are expecting men to be men and men to act as men. And after all of the buildup that we had, the years of waiting, and um, all of the back and forth, we have Bud choosing to uh, hold on. I was hoping for this. Welcome, fella. Hey, sorry, y'all. I got to take a quick commercial break because something that brother fella said when we were going back and forth in his chat. He said, "Oh, you a businessman? Let me make a quick commercial for fella, just in case he ain't know your boy, like he should know your boy. So please shop usualsuspect6.com for your combat tool merch and gear. support each individual usual suspect, and everybody up on there. My G got gear up there, Ro got gear up there, but also on Amazon.com. I felt on Amazon.com. I have a book series called Hustle God Methodology, and it's a full book series on financial literacy. You can type in Michelangelo Turner on Amazon.com, or you can type in Hustle God Methodology, and you'll find a series of books such as Hustle God, Art of the Hustle, Hustle God, Linguistics of Money, that's the language of 1%. Um, Hustle God Afro Gold Part 1, and Hustle God Masterpiece Daily Gold Man Moten. So yes, a boxer and a businessman. I'm working on it. I'm working on it. But back to the LDBC business at hand. Yeah. And I definitely got you, Ram. So I just learned how to drop the link for YouTube, like actually going to the channel and clicking that thing and copy and pasting that. I never really actually learned how to drop the link in Amazon, but I'm gonna get the links and I'm gonna send them. I'm gonna DM to you direct to the show. But yeah, that's why I've been telling people the method in acquiring the methodology series is hopping on Amazon and typing in that shit. But I got you definitely. I digress. Sorry, people. Back to the LDBC business at hand. So, and you'll see why it's LDBC business, and in a sec. But right now, we're dealing with the fact that Bud and Earl Spence were in negotiations, and according to Bud and Earl Spence, negotiations for months. Soon as Earl comes out and says that Bud has been stalling for months and that they could have fought or he could have fought in November, um, days after Bud releases through ESPN or announces through ESPN. Um, hey, I appreciate that, low. I appreciate that, cuz for real. Um, but yeah, Bud announces through ESPN, through Mike Coppinger, that he's fighting David Evanesian on Black Prime TV, um, which caught us all off guard. We were all caught off guard. And instead of, thank you for stopping by, Brian Corbett. Welcome. Have a little bit of battle with breakfast. Appreciate your support. This is Breakfast and Boxing, um, aka Breakfast with the Champ. Uh, so yeah, he announces the fight with David Avanesian, and to all of our surprise, we're just like, what the hell is going on? And this is where the chaos begins. Instead of staying with Earl Spence and Terrence Crawford, we start to deflect. It's funny because when we deal with specifically Terrence Crawford and Tank fans, which is like the Tank Protection Committee and the Children of the Cornhuskers. No offense if we have some in the chat today, because it's LDBC business and LDBC family all welcome. But we get a consistent sort of tactics when we're dealing with with the fan base or the team of Terrence Crawford and Tank Davis, and that's deflection, semantics, dismissal, or hating. Deflection, meaning they won't even address it at all. They'll go to another point, or try to act like they didn't hear your point or acknowledge your point. They'll go somewhere else with it. Semantics, they'll play on minute details instead of focusing on the point that you're trying to make or the actual bigger picture. They'll kind of similar to deflection. They'll derail, and then you got dismissal. I don't care. They'll once it becomes to a point where they can't defend or explain, they'll dismiss it. They'll push it off or push it away, and then you got the hating aspect where it turns into a violence thing. It turns into a name calling thing. So we get to where it's Steven Espinoza's fault, even though Steven Espinoza is not PBC. Steven Espinoza is the president of Showtime. PBC has done business with Showtime, Fox, and Bounce. That's three different networks as far as I know. If I know I can count, and that's three different networks. So if Steven Espinoza is to blame just for being affiliated with PBC, because he's not black, then why are we not blaming Daniel Kinahan equally? He's not black, and he's directly affiliated with Bud, as far as we know, right? So there's there's an inconsistency when it comes to us, again, when it comes to focus, isolating our focus, hyper focus on what the actual issue is. If we're talking about the fault of whose fault it was two black men in negotiation, and I'm a black man speaking, just in case y'all don't know, just because I ain't got my camera on. It was two black men in negotiation. Yeah, the bounce deal is over. I definitely, I felt like I was just using that as an example of these are different networks that have worked with the PBC, just to show that the PBC is not Showtime. There are two separate entities. PBC is a promotional company, and Showtime is a network. You feel me? Uh, but that said, I feel like Espinoza is eliminated as a factor to blame, and so is Kinahan. So we need to stay with FS1 too. Thank you, PGH Big Dog. It's a subsidiary of Fox. I didn't like quantify it as its own thing, since it's under an umbrella. But it still is another network. That's a good point. Uh, but yeah, so if we're not gonna blame the networks, and granted, I mean the non-black folks, because I feel like it's easy to point the finger at Steven Espinoza, but it's like I don't think Steven Espinoza didn't want the biggest fights. Steven Espinoza's job is to get the biggest fights on his network, but PBC could have also took that to Fox. PBC could have also presented that to anyone else. Most promotions have a schedule or at least a storyline. Most promotions have a schedule or at least a storyline. I agree. I definitely agree. Uh, but still, in moving forward, this Black Prime deal, just so that we can get to the actual LDBC business, this Black Prime deal, an affiliate via partner, is is Blue Blood, a family member of ours, LDBC. And I got to get something clear. Like when I say LDBC only, or I say LDBC or nothing, I mean the words that I say. If I say I got love for y'all, or I say I love y'all, I actually love y'all. If I say OG, I actually mean OG. I actually mean a mentor. I actually mean uh, um, uh, a brother. You feel me? So say LDBC only or LDBC or nothing. I mean I'm LDBC only. If you ain't Trilitary, if you ain't LDBC, if you ain't TWT, I'm not fucking with you. Period. And if you are family. You are more than just somebody on the internet or somebody that's uh, just another black man or just another ethnic person. You're more than that to me. Oh yes, sir. I already did. I already did. I'm done at this point. My coach stepped in. He wanted to know if I hit my. He said I don't hear no feet hitting the pavement. I got my 5 miles in after 5 a.m. Basically right at 5 a.m. and I wouldn't start this show unless I got those miles in for you, coach. So I appreciate you checking in, but you know me. I'm a man of discipline. I'm gonna get it in. It's already done. Um, D-Man Jr., what's cracking with you, Lo? I appreciate you stopping by. And Coach, too, I appreciate you stopping by. Welcome to the table. Have a little bit of battle with your breakfast. This is Breakfast in Boxing, a.k.a. Breakfast with the Champ. But yeah, so we had a lot of people in BFTB's chat with wrenches. We had a lot of people. Uh, yeah, exactly, exactly. Look, I appreciate that, Ram. He said, "Stay on his helmet, coach." Yeah, definitely, definitely. I appreciate Coach checking in on me. He don't go based off of hearsay. He go based off of proof. So, I mean, I can keep. He could trust that I'm gonna get it in, but I appreciate him checking in as he should. Drill Sergeant KG. But yeah, so Blue and his affiliation with this, instead of, because Bud and Bomac decided to sign this fight with David Avanesian and not sign to fight with Earl Spence, somehow it's Blue Blood's fault. A lot of people in with wrenches in BFTB's chat, a lot of people with wrenches in other chats, jumping out of pocket, jumping out of their skin like they don't understand what the fuck LDBC only or LDBC or nothing means. LDBC only or LDBC or nothing means. If you even affiliated with LDBC, Trilitary, TWT, you know, you should get what being on code means. What LDBC only, LDBC or nothing means. So no man is above being criticized, but I feel perfect personally that any issue that any man in the LDBC has with any business that Blue Blood has done, A, need to mind a fucking business, and B, if you do feel like you don't need to mind your business, contact Blue directly. LDBC is a family, Lions Den boxing community. We are the village. We are a tribe. So we have lines of communication to others that others don't have. Like a troll tried to say on BFTB channel, "Oh, you got a Blue Blood number?" Of course. Everybody should be connected to everybody in some way, shape, or form. So publicly scrutinizing and publicly speaking on cuz and speaking on family, I don't give a fuck who you are. All y'all look like straight hoes out here. Look like straight bitches. And I'm not fucking with none of y'all. If you had something bad to say about Blue, I'm not fucking with you. Period. I don't give a fuck what it was before this, but you know what it is after this. Like if you said something bad about Blue, it's I ain't even gonna say it's problems. You did to me in my mind. Like there's no acknowledgement. You not even LDBC family in my mind. And that's not a call for me to make, but I will not acknowledge you or respect you as such. If you out here on the internet in chat groups talking about family members, yeah, this started as a community online for hobbyists to discuss motherfucking boxing and shit. But this turned into the online Black Wall Street. So we got to have a little more respect and consistency as well as loyalty across the board. And if nobody gonna be a loyalist, I am. So if that was Ram, I ain't gonna let nobody say nothing bad about Ram. And I ain't never had a conversation with Blue. Like I ain't the biggest Blue Blood fan in the world, but I am a Blue Blood fan because he's LDBC. And so when we talk about this deal, just because he's affiliated with Black Prime didn't mean he got it Bud's hand and signed that contract. The fuck is wrong with y'all? Bud is a grown ass man and Bomac is his manager. So for us to find blame on EJ, who's a black man, and for us to find blame on Steven Espinoza, who's an ethnic man, part of the black and brown diaspora, if you follow, but we can't find blame for Bud or Bomac ever. But we can find blame for another black man, Blue Blood Sports TV, who's not only just a black man, but a part of our community directly. What the fuck is wrong with you niggas? That's my question today. What the fuck is wrong with you niggas? Smash the like button if you could for me. But still, I'm on some, this is LBC business, so if it doesn't apply, let it fly. But I'm just on some, if we're a community, if we're a family, let's be a community and be a family treated as such. Don't be fucking double talking. We grown ass men. You LDBC only. You LDBC or nothing. You LDBC everywhere. Everything LDBC. But at the same time, a man make a business decision that is going to behoove him and help his family for years to come, possibly create generational wealth, and you find a way to not blame the motherfucker who's in negotiations with EJ, but blame a motherfucker who's affiliated with the company that Bud signs to do a fight with. Bud ain't signed to Black Prime. He signed to do a fight with them. Blue Blood has a partnership with Black Prime. David Scott III, welcome family, welcome. I appreciate you stopping by. Pull up to the table, have a little bit of battle with your breakfast. This is Breakfast and Boxing. Sorry, 1 second. Blue got out here in juice now. I'm gonna have Cuz sign me up for a bum fight, 100K real quick. Hey, ain't that right, Lo? Like, man, he got Al Heyman juice for real because they could only blame Al Heyman and Earl Spence, right? It's the safe bet is to blame Al Heyman and Earl Spence, right? And then you got uh, Blue Blood and Earl Spence to blame. And it's like Blue Blood all of a sudden got as much hate as Al Heyman in these streets. And it's like, I get what OG78 is saying. Give me 1 second, guys. Let me get 100 burpees for OGB, Tuki C Day. Oh, yeah, I got you. I got you. I'm gonna give you that. I'm gonna film a couple of them too, just so you can see that you got proof, man. Just so you can see that you got the proof. Hey, man, PGA's big dog. Hey, I don't. I would love to. I would love to. That's between Blue and OG Loco, to be honest, cause like no business is done without OG Loco and without KG, and that would be a good look because that's LDBC business. But I don't want to get too I don't want to get too derailed the whole time EJ. Yeah, the whole time EJ thought it was a fight, and who led that perception? Was it Blue Blood that led EJ to? And thank you for that, D man. You brought me right back on track. The whole time uh, EJ thought it was a fight. The whole time we as the fans thought it was a fight. And who led that perception? Team Crawford. Who leads Team Crawford? Bud and Bomac, B&B Promotions, right? So how could it be anybody else's fault? Like if we stay focused on the fact that it was two black men in negotiations, Al and Earl, Bud and Bomac, right? People like again, it's Stephen Espinosa's fault, but don't blame the white man and Kenneth. Contradiction there. It's Blue Blood's fault, but don't blame Bomac. Contradiction there. Blue Blood, just so y'all know, didn't become Team Terrence Crawford just overnight. Like Blue Blood has been a fan of boxing, has been covering boxing for the longest, and just because he's leveled up and did a partnership with a boxing company doesn't mean that um, he's doing anything snake or anything that should be regarded as slimy or anything like that. At the end of the day, again, Blue didn't guide Bud's hand to sign any contracts. The only person who has that influence would be his manager or advisor. I'm telling you, man, you should sign this, or I'm telling you, you shouldn't. And think about it. If Bud was in negotiations with Manny Pacquiao, and for some reason Manny Pacquiao's signature was on there and Bud didn't sign, and Earl presents a deal to Bud, and clearly his signature is on there and Bud didn't sign, how in the hell can this be Al Heyman and EJ's fault? Even though the focus is it not being Blue's fault, but how could it be any of the three's fault? Al Heyman, Blue Blood, or EJ, when Bud has shown a consistency to do bad business, which is why I keep putting in chats bad business from Bud, because he's always shown this childlike quality, and so to the queens for reminding us of this. Bud has always been a difficult individual, and he thinks that makes him tough because I do what I want, or because I act like a child that makes him, I guess, more scary in some people's eyes. No, that just makes you a difficult adult. That makes you a childish man. That doesn't make you any tougher than you may think. It doesn't add to the air or aura of being a good fighter. You could be a good fighter and know how to negotiate properly. But for some reason, he has negotiation issues. Give me 1 second. I gotta make sure I check on right at the moment. The business wasn't right at the moment. I'm glad you said that, my fella. Why is the business not right? Because it seems like, from my perspective, the bad business is on Bud's side. It's always been on Bud's side. We've been hearing rumors around rumors about uh, uh, but not getting a guaranteed per. When has Al Heyman ever offered that? If Sean Porter has gotten 8 million to fight Earl Spence plus back end, if Mikey Garcia got like 7 million to fight Earl Spence plus back end, your Jordanius Ugas is buying houses and boats and shit after getting his face broke. Why all of a sudden they're not going to give somebody who is already guaranteed 3 to 5 million, however gray area that number is he was getting at top rank, 3 to 5 million? They're just not going to give him a purse. What kind of shit is that? And how stupid are we if we're supposed to just believe it just because Dusty ass Bernie is saying it, or somebody from Team Bud's sister, or something like that is saying it? I'm not following that just because somebody said, "Oh, he's not being offered a purse." What kind of bullshit is that? Even the worst of the worst, even Eddie Hearn is out here throwing the bank at motherfuckers. But Al Heyman, who's known to overpay people, is supposed to not give anybody a purse. No guarantees who pays the sanction fees up front. No guarantees who pays the sanction fee up front. That's my point, though. How are you going to do the biggest fight in boxing with no guarantee? It doesn't make sense. That's just backwards business. It doesn't make sense. But it's the promoter asking that, not Bud the boxer. But nah, I'm saying he's showing the consistency of not being able to sign contracts. Y'all act like when he first was caught out by Sean Porter that they didn't offer Sean Porter $1 million, and Sean Million made over two to fight Formella. Y'all acting like when Danny Garcia tried to fight him, they wasn't trying to lowball Danny Garcia. When Keith Thurman was moonlighting with Top Rank, they wasn't trying to do bad business with him there. Like he's away from Top Rank, and y'all can't blame the white man. Y'all acting like the bad business cannot be with Bud, who Bud the promoter or Bud the boxer or Bomac, both. I mean, former boxer and now promoter slash manager ain't responsible for doing bad business. Like that's my point. Like when he was with Top Rank, he was doing bad business. Now that he's not with Top Rank, he's doing bad business. Pacquiao, Earl Spence. I mean, when he was with Top Rank, Keith Thurman, Danny Garcia, Pacquiao. Now we got Earl Spence afterwards, and then we get David Avanesian. Like that's not uh, reminiscent of Ugas. I mean, Kavalaskis and Postal. We're getting the same bullshit that we've been getting from him. But again, just to put a button on the LDBC business shit. If you critical of Blue and you got something bad to say about Blue, I'm not fucking with you. It's a rhyme, so don't forget it. Also, if you got something bad to say about Blue and you putting it out in these internet streets, you, as far as I'm concerned, ain't LDBC in my eyes. So yeah, like a lot of y'all need to look in the mirror and look at y'all actions and really look at this situation and actually say, hey, motherfucking Bud did bad business. Or if you're gonna blame if you don't want to blame Bud, blame Bomac for not having him sign that contract and make it happen. Because there's no way in hell Black Prime offered Bud more money for David Avanesian than Al Heyman and Earl Spence offered Bud to fight them. There's no way. And if it is possible, it's because they weren't, Bud's side weren't, let's use his favorite word, his word of the week, transparent with Earl Spence on doing multiple negotiations at the same time, stating that, hey, being offered this, but I'm committing that. Because when I was in negotiations for I fight again, I'll be back, by the way, guys, November 23rd, Erie Bayfront Brawl, the Bayfront Convention Center. But when I was in negotiation for this fight, we had two offers for the same day. We were transparent, letting both sides know we had two offers on the table and what was at stake, and we're gonna have to choose one. So we had to let them both know, so neither were blindsided. But us as the fans, as the masses, as well as EJ, were blindsided. So let's not try to just use semantic deflection, dismissal, and hating as tactics. like I already broke down before. Let me go back to the chat real quick. Uh, he's being seen as just a fighter and not respected as a promoter. Black may have shown proof. It's bad business not to open the books with a co-promoter. Okay, as I was saying before in one of my other lives, uh, I'm glad that welcome Queen, welcome to Breakfast and Boxing, aka Breakfast with the Champ. Thank you for the name, Queen Tay Tay, the sweetest voice on the net. Have a little bit of battle with your breakfast. I'm glad y'all going there. I'm getting jumped by the usual suspects right now. I'm getting jumped by the usual suspects right now. I love it. My coach and the architect, if you will, odd fella. Sorry, I keep dropping this down phone. Um, yeah, they're saying essentially he's not being respected as a promoter and being looked at as a fighter. How is that? And that he's not opening the books. As I said in one of my other lives, transparency is required with a contract. If we were offering, and this is a good example because you guys are involved. So the designer of the combat tool bag gear, if Odd Fella, if Odd Fella is the designer of the combat tool bag gear, but if I did a partnership with the promoter to sell my merch at this fight that I'm having November 23rd, they're gonna have to tell me um, the amount of people who stopped at the kiosk, because I'm not working the kiosk myself. Granted, my employees would be working the kiosk, but there's going to be a number of ticket sales, right? There's going to be a number of concession sales. There's going to be a number of all of that. All of these things have to be uh, transparent across the board. I'd have to let the promoter know the gross and net of what I made if he's getting a percentage of my merch. If we signed a deal to do it that way. So I partner with this promoter that I'm fighting with November 23rd in Erie to sell my merch, to sell this combat tool bag, this usual suspect gear there, to just to make some money on the side. And this is just a small example. He'd have to know how much I'm selling, how much merchandise I'm selling, what it grossed, what I'm netting, how much I have to set aside for taxes, blah blah blah, so that they can know what their cut is. How is Bud gonna do 100% back end contract and not know the gross, not know what's being sold at concessions, not know any of that? Again, when we're talking about books, we're talking about auditing a company. No company, you're not going to let me audit the usual suspects books because I have nothing to do with the usual suspects profits overall as in the grand scheme of things. The shop usual suspects site. No one is going to let me look into their bank account. Coach ain't gonna let me look into his bank account because I'm not the one clocking in every day at his job. I'm not gonna let Bud or Bomac look in my bank account or anything like that if he's not clocking in working in my place at my job. When we're talking about transparency, we're talking about what's agreed upon, what's being negotiated, what's being agreed upon. They're doing an event together, which is a partnership. They're gonna have to be transparent about what the ticket sales were, or else are they gonna pay him based off of ticket sales 100% on the back end with no guarantee up front? It doesn't make sense. If I have no guarantee up front and I'm making all of my money on the back end, and you're not gonna tell me what we grossed, you're not gonna show me what we netted, you're not gonna show me how many people attended, you're not gonna show me how much was sold at concessions, if I get a percentage of that. Those are two different things. The transparency of the agreement that we have together, he's obligated to, he's entitled to, because that's what the contracts are being sent back and forth, and that's what's being negotiated in the contracts. So not opening the books to me is bullshit. It doesn't make any sense in the world because no one's going to open their books and even to the IRS unless they're being audited. So that's just a bullshit ass excuse. It doesn't make sense for somebody to crack their books open for a fighter or a promoter. They ain't cracked their books open for Bob Arum when they did the deal with Fury and Wilder. They ain't cracked the books open whenever Bud fought John Molina. They ain't cracked the books open when Bud fought Sean Porter, but all of a sudden he needs to review every other pay that every other fighter had in the history of PBC, knowing that PBC is giving everybody their highest paydays. But somehow y'all believe that Bud won't get a guarantee. Bud's only getting back end money. Bud is not entitled to know the details of what's actually transpiring on the night of the event and after. He's not entitled to that information, though 100% of his money is based on it. We're all too smart to believe that. And I mean, I was a Dean's List student when, but ain't nobody have to go to college to understand that a motherfucker is like, come on, God, come on, y'all. That don't even make no damn sense. Let's be real. That don't make no damn sense. That's literally like you asking me what's in my wallet and you ain't got nothing to do with it. But if me and you doing business side by side, I'm not gonna tell you anything. I'm just gonna give you a paycheck. Like, what the fuck type business do y'all niggas be doing? Like, real shit. Like, you gotta have a CFO that's a crackhead if you believe the shit that Bud is telling you. Um, Books is being misinterpreted. That's my whole thing. Because when you talk about books, you're talking about the history of the financial history of the company. But if you're talking about transparency, you're talking about what's transpiring, what's happening transactionally, and to the what's happening transactionally to the things that you're uh, contractually obligated to. So transparency is referring to our partnership in the business that we're doing today. Books is referring to the financial history of the company yesterday. So let's not get convoluted, which goes back to my other point of motherfuckers have a problem with iso focus, with hyper focus, with staying on point. And in conclusion, this this is a bit of a late show, and other people are know we talking about upcoming event. Show your projections, but how can you show projections, KG? And then on top of that, it's like you can't to show projections is asking for me to write a receipt for a transaction that has not happened. It's really that simple. You will get your receipt whenever, because literally if you showed projections, essentially that's what they're negotiating. All right, if we do this, I get this. Cool. That's what they're negotiating. That's what's in the contract. But if you want transparency, that's the receipt. That's the back office details of everything that transpired the night of. It's just like running an ATM business. Literally, the transaction happens in the front, but the back office is where you see your profits on all transactions, your surcharge. That's how it works. I mean, y'all all have hustle. Y'all all have hustle history. Y'all all have business IQ. So for a motherfucker to just say they're doing blind business and this was bad business with one of the best businessmen as far as we know in recent history of boxing, but Black Prime does better business. Y'all gotta be on something, man. I'm sorry, but but that said, I do want to make a summary before I end the show, and that's essentially, again, family. We have to focus on being loyalists to the team. LDBC or nothing means something, and it should mean something to you all. It means something to me, and I live by that. LDBC or nothing, LDBC only. Um, Support your family, love your family. Um, don't don't be out here dissing your family in the public. And if you do, you not family. Um, Secondly, when it Wilder did an amazing job on his return. I'm glad the King is back. Make sure y'all check out the exclusive interview with the General 7A Sports TV, my OG K Hope, Black Fight Fan, and Queen Cece, and it also features Malik Scott. Um, and lastly, if we're looking at, and I'm glad uh, you said that they were respecting him as a boxer and not as a promoter, but neither are. But in conclusion, we're not respecting as a promoter and as a boxer, because it's everyone's fault but Bud. There's no accountability whenever we're talking about Bud as the promoter who has made negotiations as BNB promotions representative, lead representative at that, negotiating with EJ for months just to turn around and do what is known as bad business practices or untrustworthy acts by negotiating with this man, hiding your hands, and then playing your hand and dealing your cards to another business scenario entirely. That sounds like backyard business. That sounds like back alley dealings. That sounds like since motherfuckers was getting offended when K-Rod said it on BFB's channel, that sounds like the activities of a thug. You know what I'm saying? That sounds like the activity of a motherfucker who do shiesty shit. So when we're actually talking about Bud as a promoter, we have to hold accountability to Bud as a promoter. Bud can't be responsible. Can't be innocent of everything, but still respect him and give him the power as a promoter. And then somehow again, it's Blue Blood's fault, it's Al Heyman's fault, it's EJ's fault, but Bud's the promoter, a free agent, and has also done this to Manny Pacquiao, has also lowballed Danny Garcia, has also played doing business with Keith Thurman, like, and then gives us David Amnesia, number 6, goes past Boots Ennis, Virgil Ortiz, all of the good ranked fighters, and gives us some more bullshit. So just saying. Love y'all. Let me address a couple more chats before I dive on out of here. Based on the history of your fighter and his previous turnouts. Well, based on the history of the fight, our fighter and his previous turnouts, EJ's numbers are public, coach. I mean, BFTB did a whole breakdown on EJ's numbers versus Bud's numbers. It's actually out there, both numbers. We rarely know how much the plug is getting for it. That's my point, though. Are we doing business, up and up business, or are we doing backyard dealings? Because as far as we know, we don't know how much the plug is getting it for, and we would need transparency for that. But ain't no plug giving you no details like that, especially if you ain't putting in on his brick, right? So, I mean, you coming in as the plug. You coming in as somebody who gonna help bash this shit off. And if you gonna help bash this shit off, it's your business how much I'm getting it for. It's how much you getting it off me for is all that matters to you. But that's not the scenario with Bud. The scenario with Bud is he was in a contract, but he's saying that he's not getting transparency. How are you not getting transparency if you're negotiating, redlining things, and then they're sending it back to you modified, but you're not getting transparency? Maybe that's something that you're not getting through your lawyers. The contract for a partnership or there was so much that Team Bud said. They said it was a rematch. They said it was 35% to 40%, 60 in my favor, 50 in my favor. They agreed to all terms. Then it was transparency. Then it was the right to approve things. We all know Team Bud double talk more than a motherfucker, but some people they fall for the okie doke. But that said, guys, I overstayed my welcome. I knew it was gonna be a little bit longer than usual, due to the LDBC that's at hand. I love y'all. I love the LDBC, and if you don't love the LDBC, you don't need to be in the LDBC. And if you're not down to be a loyalist, then maybe you're too much of an independent thinker to be a part of a collective and a part of this community. That said, please support, follow, subscribe, everything LDBC, Trilitary, TWT, Simple Truth Network, HFO the Church, Acting Right TV. Those are my other 2 channels, HFO Church, Acting Right TV. Support my OGs, OG Carno Loco, OG K Hope, that's Black Fight Fan. Shop Usual Suspects, support the Usual Suspects. It's shopusualsuspect6.com. Get some Usual Suspect gear. Please grab some Combat Tool Bag merch while you're at it. and support my little brother, Black Sun. That's 9 4 Sun God. Grab your, again, combat tool bag merch on shopusualsuspect6.com, and check out my book series, Hustle God Methodology, on Amazon.com. You can type in Michelangelo Turner on Amazon.com. You can type in Hustle God Methodology on Amazon.com, and 4 books should pop up. Hustle God Masterpiece, that's Daily Golden Mind Molding, is the alternative title. Hustle God Afro Gold Part 1. Hustle God Linguistics of Money, that's the language of the 1%. And Hustle God Art of Hustle. I love y'all. Thank you for having breakfast with the champ. This is Breakfast and Boxing. I'm gonna try to come Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Post morning run. Post morning run, coach. um, and yeah, again, it's LDBC only, LDBC or nothing. Of course, over here it's a Code Black affair. Until next time, that'll be until Wednesday, Wednesday morning, guys. Deuces. Oh, Opulent LD, salute, bro. Back to the top if you can. Um, no, but back to trying to blame Spence all over the place. Yeah, but on top of the double talk, we got Bud. We got Bud who said it was the suit's fault and then it was EJ's fault. But love y'all. Till next time. And yes, sir, I'm gonna get them burpees in for you. I'm gonna film a little bit of it, just a little clip of them, because it's my environment where I'm doing them ain't too spiffy. But I'm gonna get them burpees in. Yeah, but I'm gonna talk to y'all later. I try to keep it friendly live. It's short and sweet. We here early mornings. 6:50, 7 o'clock at the latest. Uh, but Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. All y'all have a great day. All y'all, thank you for stopping by. Smash the like button, and deuces.